Good morning, Facebook. Sure. Mwah, 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 mwah. How you doing, baby? Happy Friday. And today on Coffee and Conversation with your girl, Shakenya. When you get a minute, go to that YouTube channel, Shakenya, and hit subscribe. Look at some of the videos, and if you see anything that makes sense to you, just hit share. I try to label most of them, but some of them it's just about, you ain't no telling what you gonna get when you click. I mean, it for real. Some of it I'm doing it all by myself, right? Now, if my plan A, my daughters will be in charge of that type of stuff. All the social media, all the promotions. So they will be in charge of titling and labeling and all that stuff. But I gotta do it. So I gotta learn, and I do it sometimes. So yeah, but all of them good. I can tell you that. Yep. Any one of them you decide to share, it wouldn't even matter. They all good. Yep. I would say that, wouldn't I? So how y'all feeling? It's Friday. I feel good. Yep. I'm playing catch up. Everything that I was going to do Saturday, I'm going to try to do today. Yep. Motor City Radio won't be live tonight at 7. It's not. I made the executive decision to do a replay because I want to put all my focus into everything that I'm trying to do today, meaning everything I put on the list to complete, I'm going to try to complete every last task. So if I'm going to do that, I have to be focused. So I can't do nothing else, right? So that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to let you know how far I get. A lot of it got to do with my house. Yeah, I have a lot of repairs that need to be done. I'm going to be working on my roof today. I'm going to fix my ceiling today, because it was affected from the leak from the roof, right? So I'm tired of looking at it. Yeah, I'm tired of beautifying everybody else's home, and then I come home and put my tools away. I got to get out of that. I was getting out of it. Remember, I was on a nice little streak. I was getting up early in the morning. I was doing something with the house. And then I go to work. And then I fell off, right? I fell off and got caught up in the jobs, and I stopped doing it. I wasn't consistent. So I got to get back to doing my house first, making me a priority, making my home a priority, my palace, before I go off into the world and help everybody else, right? So today, I ain't going to keep you too long. Nope. I ain't going to keep you. I'm going to talk about 2 manipulation tips. Yep, I'm going to get 2 manipulation tips out of it. I'm going to try. And I'm going to talk about a subject that we probably don't talk about too much on here, that I hope you do talk about, and that's menopause. I know, I try to cover every base here on Coffee and Conversation, right? And me being a woman of a particular age, I'm okay with talking about it, right? So I'm going to throw that up in there. So let me see. Make sure you get a copy of my book, Dysfunctional Family Knot. You can get it from lulupublishing.com. Yep. It's on Amazon too, but I don't know if we shopping at Amazon. Is we back shopping at Amazon? I be trying to keep up with the black news, right? I know we had some issues. I think was they a part of the DEI? I know you can get it from Lulu Publishing. I haven't heard nothing about them yet. So you see, I'm trying to talk about the manipulation tips from your 9th grade year. And now that you're seniors, we're looking at the psychological damage that it has had on your children and the adverse effect that it has had on your children over prolonged use. Meaning that you've been doing these things to this baby ever since the breakup, right? So you like 4 or 5 years in, you've been talking about the mama in front of the baby in a bad way, right? Calling her out her name. You've been saying that the dad is a deadbeat, even though he's there and he does do everything he's supposed to do, right? That's that gaslighting. You know, you got a child believing one thing, but it's actually something else, right? So you telling him that he's a deadbeat, but yet and still he pays child support, and he show up at the games, and he get the baby but these are the things that you say about him to the baby. So you've been doing this all these years, right? So now we're looking at how the baby is responding to this. How does the baby act? And the baby's probably acting out. Baby's probably disrespectful to people. Probably don't respect authority as a result of you disrespecting dad or having him or allowing him to disrespect dad, right? Because that's the main people, mom and dad are the main people you're supposed to be respecting, right? But when you got one turning on the other and causing the child to turn on that, yeah, it disrupts the balance of things, right? It disrupts the balance, the dynamics of everything. And like my situation, there's no way she should be growing up, my daughter should be growing up without a mother. There is no way in this day and time, with everything that we as people of color have dealt with over time, that purposely things were done to disrupt our relationship. There is no way she should be walking around out here without the love, the guidance, and the nurturing of a mom. There's no way. There's no way, right? So it's unimaginable. Yeah. I hope you never have to deal with. I don't wish this on my worst enemy, and I don't have any enemies, but if I had any. If I had any, I wouldn't wish it on them, right? So, yeah, we're looking at the psychological, because why wouldn't she be affected, right? We're affected, me and my other children, right? I long for her. I'm quite sure she longs for me. Every child longs for a mother, right? And longs for their mom. So if she is longing for me and wants me to be in her life and can't express that, that's abuse. Because something has been done for her to feel that way, right? Whether it was the lies being told, whether it was all these manipulation tips that I tell you about. Some of them you probably didn't think that was manipulation tips. Yeah, you probably didn't think it was causing any harm. But now that you look at it and now that you've done your research, because I'm quite sure you look up everything that I say. Yeah, just because it's me. Yeah. And I advise you to do so. I'm okay with that. Yeah. However way you feel about me, right? So you've done your research and you see that it's to be true, right? You see that it's right there in print, that what Shakenya said was actually true. And this is why my child is probably acting the way that they're acting, because I did this, right? So, yeah, it was a lot of times that now that I look back, I should have stopped her from going over there. Like, I thought it would have been cruel to stop her from going to see them, disconnecting her from that side of the family. I kind of put her feelings first. How would a child be if I just took her away from dad, or, but it was a few times, now that I look at it, that I should have stopped her from going over there, right? No physical abuse, no marks or anything like that, but it would be certain things that she would say that would allude me to think that somebody is over there saying stuff to her or saying stuff in her presence that they shouldn't be saying. Right? Very, very inappropriate, right? So, yeah, I should have stopped her. I should have. And you have to be on alert. If anything that I say touch your soul or feel so to the point where you like, you know what? I've felt this. I've seen this. I've dealt with this. This might be what's going on. Do your due diligence and dive in. Have a conversation with that baby mama or the baby daddy. Might not be the baby mama or the baby daddy doing anything, but it might be somebody in their camp. Every time they go over there, they might encounter somebody or an influence that they might have over there that they might interact with, that might be doing some things, right, that cause your child to say certain things or act a certain way or do right. So if you notice something is not right, yeah, y'all should have that type of a relationship to where y'all can talk, right? I know mine was purposely done because I haven't heard from my baby daddy since she's been over there. So for 7 years, I have not heard from my baby daddy. I have not heard from his people, the auntie, the grandmother. Nobody has included me in a group chat. Nobody has reached out to let me know how she's doing. The baby hasn't called. So just imagine that. For 7 years, imagine you drop your child off. Your child decides, because she decided for herself that she wanted to stay with dad. And instead of dad encouraging her that staying with me is the best place for her, right? Because I've done so well as a mother. He and his camp provided a plan, an escape plan. Imagine somebody doing this to you, Mom. Imagine that. Imagine you oblivious to it. Imagine you don't know what's going on. Imagine your child acting as if nothing is wrong. So everything I tell you to look out for, I guarantee you'll be right on the money if you see something and you notice it, right? Me, there was no signs. That's how I know it was all a cultivated plan, because there was no signs and the baby was in on it, unfortunately, right? So I know it's hurtful to say. It's hurtful to say. But the fact of it playing out the way that it did, I can't help but think that she had a lot to do with it, because there was no signs. She acted just like my other children. And when I say my other children were perfect, she was a good role model. She did good in school. She was the product that I created. all my children were the product that I created. So I never was led on to think anything other than the couple times that she said certain things that she said, right? And they let me know that somebody was talking about me, right? So yeah, you got to be careful. When you're raising children, you're raising them with somebody. There's no way he should be walking around here acting like he's a single father. There's no way he should be walking around here trying to make it seem as if he was the only one raising her and taking credit for everything. There is no way, right? So, yeah, so outside the 2 manipulation tips, I got tagged to a video by this beautiful young lady, Latrice Herring, right? And I say beautiful in so many ways. Not only is she physically beautiful, but when you go to her page, you see that she shares a lot of people's things. That speaks volumes for me. When I go to somebody's page and I see that it's not all about them, that they really have other people's businesses that they promote. They got their own and they market and they promote their own, but they share their platform with other people in their businesses. So when I go to her page, I see nothing but black excellence because she's always sharing somebody's stuff, promoting somebody, right? She promotes me, right? So she shared a couple of coffee and conversations, and she also shared a couple of Motor City Radio, right? So I love her. So she tagged me to a video of a young lady by the name of Dr. Angela McCrary, right? And the video was about Dr. Angela McCrary talking about menopause, talking about what she's going through as far as going through menopause, and how she feels abandoned, that her mother did not tell her about menopause, what to expect, the changes that her body is going to go through, right? So, fix it, Jesus. It had me thinking because I'm actually going through it right now, right? I've passed the perimenopause stage and I'm actually in menopause, right? It's been a whole year since I've had a cycle. So that would technically put me in that pocket of menopause, right? So the hot, the sweats, the can't sleep at night, vaginal dryness, the whole nine. I'm experiencing it right now, right? So my oldest daughter, when she comes over, you know, she's come over at times where I'm having my own personal summer, right? Having those sweats, those hot flashes. And she's actually held me one time, gave me a hug, right? So she could feel the heat generating and how my body just flared up, right? And so I talked to her about it, right? We talk about things that I'm doing, right? I got a fan in my room. I sleep with a fan at night, no matter what the weather, no matter what I don't care what's going on outside. I got the air on. I got the fan on at night. Sometimes I sit on the porch naked, right? I know, but I felt like it on some occasions, getting up in the middle of the night, 3 a.m. and looking around, seeing if anybody out, right? Because it be that hot. Your body just feel like an oven, just cut on, 400 degrees, out of nowhere, and you ain't doing nothing. And now you hot. Your ass hot, your neck hot, the top of your head is hot. Everything is just hot, and ain't nothing you can do. Nothing you can do about it, right? So a couple videos ago, I talked to you guys about equipping your children with the tools that they need to survive, right? You also got to equip them with the tools they need to live, right? So meaning that changes that might go through with your daughters, changes with their body, menopause, putting them a step ahead of the game. How many people have talked to you about menopause? Did your mother talk to you about menopause? Did your mother talk to you about what to expect? Did your mom, your aunties let you know what your body is going to experience and how it feels and some of the things that you can do to reduce it or to help you or to... Yeah. Like, it's a lot of things I did as far as, like, we talked about the survival part as far as talking to your children about credit, talking to them about entrepreneurship, talking to them about home ownership. But, yeah, when it comes to life, how to live, like, it was certain things. I didn't allow people to smoke or drink around them. Alcohol, you know what I'm saying? Not in my home. Now, I can't control what other people do, but I do believe the influences I had them around, hopefully they didn't influence them the wrong way. But in my home, I rarely drank alcohol around them, and I didn't like people to smoke cigarettes. One of my baby daddies smoked, he had to go outside. Yeah, I didn't like, because you'll be surprised with your children and other people, the type of illnesses they'll pick up just from secondhand smoke, right? So I'm pretty health conscious, I'll say. Yeah. So yeah, so I was on top of that. I was on top of that. I was on top of that. I hated that his mother smoked around the baby, right? So when we tried to set up that safe space, remember, and I tried to talk to him about it, he got up and just left. Real immature. When you have children, you have to grow up. Yep, you have to grow up. You have to sit down. You have to have uncomfortable conversations as it relates to that child, or just period, right? So when it comes to certain things that you like and dislike about them raising a child, they have to be made aware of. And that was something that I did want to talk to him about. It was a few things, a few issues that I had about her going over there. And I should have stopped her from going over there then when we couldn't sit down and have a civil conversation. Yeah, it shouldn't have been that much hatred, right? Just the fact that I apologize for whatever I did in the relationship, right? The fact that I took such good care of our daughter, was such a good role model for her, the life I created for them, right? The fact that I took care of his father after he left us, right? Dropped his dad off, didn't pick him up, right? Took care of his daddy for 4 years. Something out of those 3 things should have been enough for him to continue, but I did more. Just cooperating with him. All the seeds of co-parenting, right? All the events and things that he signed her up for. He signed her up for golf, but I took her to practice every day, right? He signed her up for cheer. Even after I advised him not to, after they cut her from the team, one of those camps, they cut her from the team or whatever, and I said, let's put her in gymnastics first. Before we signed her back up, he signed her back up anyway. He would act like he was a single parent sometimes. It was like I didn't really have no say-so, or anything that I said didn't matter, right? When you raising a child with somebody, that's one of the manipulation tips for today. And it seems like I'm strumming off, but I'm going to tie it back in. But one of the manipulation tips is when you are an active parent and you are supportive and in that child's life, and that parent acts as if they are a single parent. As if they're doing everything by themselves, right? They're taking credit for everything. He had every last trophy that she had gotten from cheer, and ain't take her hardly to no practices. At some point, some of those trophies should have been over my house. Some of them should have been on the stand at my house to display what she did, what she's into, and how I made a contribution in that by taking her to practice. And I know I always throw out, I took her to school, took her to practice as if it was a chore. No, it was not. I enjoy every moment of it, but I have to paint a picture for you guys. And I have to let you know exactly what I was doing as a mom and the type of parent that I am, and that you would know the type of environment that he stole her from. Because when you got to lie to a child and use manipulation tips in order for them to make a decision on which parent they want, first of all, the child should never have to choose. There was no abuse or neglect. There was no abuse or neglect. There was no abuse or neglect. Those are the only 2 reasons why you should try to even think about removing a child or getting CPS involved or involved in law. Yep. No abuse or neglect, meaning that the only reason why my daughter is not in my life is because I chose to end the marriage and walk away. I didn't want to be in an abusive marriage anymore. I was tired. I left, and that was that, right? So instead of me being commended for leaving a situation that was unhealthy, I was punished for it, right? Because if I would have still continued to sleep with him, even though he was a married man and I left him for many, many reasons, I probably would still have a relationship with my daughter. So this is no different than a baby mama keeping a child from the daddy because he don't want to be with her, right? You got to sleep with her in order to see your child. You got to give her money all the time. You got to run your pockets every time. You got to do certain things. You got to jump through certain hoops. This is no different. It's just switched around. Okay, let me let you know that right now, right? So, yeah, the lying, the talking about me, turning her against me, making her choose. There is no reason why even after she went to go stay with him that there was no communication. If that's what he wanted and if that was the best thing for her to live with him, why did I have to be taken out completely? She don't have a relationship with none of us. She don't have a relationship. What sense do that make for her not to have a relationship with her mom? What sense does it make for her not to? Why wouldn't she be in communication with her siblings? Why wouldn't she be in communication with her uncle? These are people that she was raised with. Why wouldn't it be encouraged by the father and his side of the family? Why would it be made to be a bad thing if she stayed in contact with me or had me? Why wouldn't she want me to be a part of her life? We didn't have no problems. Yeah, she's doing everything right now that I wrote about in my book. So the life that I created for my children, the life that I wanted for them, going off to a black college, having a business, being knowledgeable about things that we weren't knowledgeable about as children, menopause being one, because I'm quite sure none of y'all mamas probably talked to y'all. It's in my book already. Some of it was written before she was even born. So the whole blueprint of sending all my children off to college. Yeah, so why would there be any beef? Why would I not want her in my life? And she's doing everything that I talked about in my book. He don't have a business. He don't have a degree, right? But he's taking credit for all of that I instilled. For her to be off at school and doing what she's doing. For her to have a business like she has, right? Just like me. That's that carbon copy I tell you about. They create the children and make the children in your image as if the children is competing with you, right? But the children is also facilitating a place with that parent, right? Which is an inappropriate relationship, right? Every picture that you see of him, you see the daughter. Him. So yeah, you would just look at it like a father with his children, a loving father. Yeah, but every picture look as if she is the woman in the picture. Wife ain't in none of them. Why is that, right? So it's just a lot of inappropriateness. It's a lot that some people should have checked into before they just took a side, right? So yeah, for nobody to ever contact me to ask my side of the story, for me to just be cut out, that just lets you know how long the setup was going on, the behind the scenes, the staging the scenes, the lies, right? I had to find out through somebody, another mutual friend, that he was saying as if she lived with him, never mentioned me at all. Now this is when she was all in my life still. I'm getting up every morning, taking her to school. They asked about her and he made it seem as if she just solely lives with him. No mention of me whatsoever. So to let you know, and that was a couple years before she actually stayed with him. So that means he was staging the scene then. He was lying then. He was setting it up then. Yeah, you would think that somebody that going through this much, that it would have been some abuse or neglect going on. That he had to really save her for some reason. To go through those extremes. You would think that. But no. I was a good parent. Yeah, doing everything I was supposed to do. So yeah, the gymnastics part, he just did everything. So that's one of the manipulation tips. When they act as if they are a single parent and they very well have help from you. And when they take credit for everything. Yeah, they don't give you credit for nothing that you do, right? They don't acknowledge you for nothing that you do. And they take credit for everything that you do and make it seem like they're doing it, right? And always consult. It's not a manipulation tip, just a tip for you. Consult with that other parent. Anything that got to do with that child. Any appointments, anything that you about to do with that baby, anything that I did, whether he responded or not, I will text him. That's why it's hard for me to believe that there has been no communication in the last 7 years, because I text him about everything when it came to that baby. I called him whether he answered, and I left voice messages every time when it came to that baby. Anything that was going on with her. He responded to some of it he didn't, and he would send inappropriate messages that I wouldn't respond to. But for the most part, our communication was none. It was very low, right? But I did do my part. And I have messages to this day in my other phone, inappropriate ones as well, right? So, yeah, of me communicating, me trying to communicate. But you can't communicate, you can't cooperate, you can't do this with him. Yeah, you have to be able to work with that baby mama and the baby daddy. You have to share that child. That's not just your baby, right? So there's been no communication in 7 years. But it's hard to believe because, like I said, when she was in my care, I kept the communication going. I kept the text messages going. I shared things with him. Whenever she would get an award, I would make a copy and make sure he has a copy of it, right? So me communicating, me sharing, anytime a game or something came up, I made sure he was very aware at the same time. I still let him claim her on her taxes. Yeah. Even after the divorce, I still allowed him to claim her on his taxes, right? So, yeah, you got to understand the fairness of it all on my end. And you got to see how I was treated on the other end. Yeah, you don't do nobody like that. Nobody that you have a child with. There's no way she should be walking around having ill feelings about me. There's no way she should be walking around having hatred for me. There's no way she should be walking around feeling as if I don't love her, even though I've been absent out her life for 7 years, right? How could she not think that, right? But you got to look at how much was put in to make it that way, right? So, yeah, it's a sad thing. That's why I'm here every day. So I gave you 2 manipulation tips. And also talked about menopause. So So, yeah, Mom, make sure you're talking to your daughters about the things that they can look forward to when it comes to menopause, right? Let them know it's a stage in their life where certain things are going to happen. Hot flashes is going to take place. Vaginal dryness is going to happen. Yep, a lot of irritability is going to happen. Sleepless nights is going to happen. Yep, make sure you inform her, equip her so she'll know and she can go and do her own research. That way when it comes that time for her, she'll know exactly what's going on with her body. She'll know exactly what to do. She might even have better remedies than you do, right? Because my fan right now is working for me. So, y'all, that's it for Coffee and Conversation with your girl, Shakenya. I'm about to do what I do around this house. I know I'm getting started a little late, but that's okay. I slept in today. I wasn't on nobody's time schedule today. I ain't have to get up at the crack of dawn today. Sometimes I feel guilty about that because it's so much that I know I need to do. And I just, no, I'm going to lay here this extra little 40 minutes, right? And I did. And it felt good. I feel more energized than I did, right? Because I can't do it every day. Y'all, I am going to put these pictures up. I'm going to cut them out. But I'm going to put them in the bar area. You know how when you go to somebody's bar and they got pictures of all the stars that down visit they bar? Oh, wait, I'm missing. She's part of the group. Y'all know that group. I got the man in here somewhere. Too. But y'all, yes. So I'm going to put it. So no, they didn't visit the bar. But I did meet these people in person, right? So I'm going to put that picture up. And hopefully I can get them to come and stop in the bar. And come and sign. That's the goal. Y'all probably, this gonna date me up back here, y'all. But that's Mr. Little in the middle. He was a famous hairstylist back in the day. Yep, and that's me hanging on with my little orange suit on. Yeah, that's an old picture. So y'all, yep, I'm gonna put me and my children. We was working on this campaign. Yeah, remember I told y'all I volunteered for different campaigns. I was trying to get my children involved with politics so they'll have the inner workings of it. Because when I run for office, they were going to be my team. Now that's time and turns. I know, I'm about to put them up. Y'all, I'm putting them up today. Brother Malik Shabazz, local civil rights leader here. Does a lot with the community. Yep, y'all met a lot of people. This is Lee Thomas, one of our anchors here. One of the news channels that I had my interview with. Hey, Mr. Love. How you doing, honey? Yeah, he's one of the news anchors there. This is one of the local artists here. You know who he is. One of the Tubi actors. I told y'all I met him at Tracy Party, y'all. I told y'all my cousin Tracy Party be lit. You can meet anybody. Felicia on Friday. Yep. Angela Means. This was at her restaurant in California, Jackfruit Cafe. Put her on my wall. This is one of our radio hosts back in the day, Foolish. He's a comedian here in Detroit. You probably seen him. Yeah, probably performed somewhere near you. Funny fellow. Another Tubi actor. Can't think of his name to save my life right now, but he plays the attorney in the Dirty D for Brent. Yeah. I don't have to introduce this gentleman here. Yep, he was running. I got a chance to see him. Hugh Harper. Yeah. It's one of our artists, Kim. Yep. So I have some more. Dr. Umar Johnson. Yeah. So I'm about to put them all on. I know. And I got a couple pictures with him. I know. He took her away from me, guys. Can you believe that? Yeah, can you believe that? Somebody like me. If you are you have a child that misbehaves, boys 12 to 17, girls 12 to 17, attitude adjustment. Yep, we are enrolling children for next month's workshop. You can give me a call, 313-586-2240. Yep, I got a youth program too. Yep. Oh, and if you have a business you would like to promote, I have a radio show that comes on Fridays at 7 p.m. It ain't coming on live tonight, but it will be next Friday. Yep. Now, who I got in the house next Friday? I think I got a young lady next Friday talking about taxes and credit and a lot of informative information. Yep. So y'all tune in next Friday at 7 p.m. But yep, y'all, that's it. Yep. I got a radio show that promotes black-owned business. Radio show that promotes black-owned. I know. I'm doing a lot. Yeah. Doing a lot. Yeah. Definitely would have been an asset in her life. What you think? What you think? Yeah. Hey, Instagram, how you doing? Let me shoot out some waves. I know it was a lecture today. I'm sorry. I ain't gonna come on tomorrow. How about that? I'll give you a break from parenting tomorrow. Okay, that's fine. You know I'm gonna come on tomorrow. Hey, Baskin. Love you, baby. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, Instagram was hot today. Yeah, it hot today. Okay, y'all. I'm out. I'm out. Yeah, they was hot today. Mwah.